Hey there, boys and girls, Creeposaur from Creeposaur Inc. here, and today I am back for some more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh! Content, and today we're going to be doing another Monarch deck profile, not because I'm trying to recycle decks, but this is the one that I am playing right now, and the only reason I'm doing another deck profile for it is because I have had a lot more time with the deck, and the ban list just came out, so I figured I'd do an update on it until I get my new deck out for you guys, because I'm building a new one. It takes me longer to build decks, because I don't get to go out and, buy packs and all that stuff as often, so let's just, jump right into this, and then hopefully later on, down the road, I can get that deck profile out to you guys, because I'm coming up on almost being done with it. I'm not going to tell you guys which one I'm playing, but it'll be out soon, don't worry. So first off, for this Monarch deck profile, I'm not playing the, Karaz build or anything like that, because I like the way that, that this build works, because the fact that I can do a whole bunch of different stuff, because I get that you can, Karaz, Karaz itself and all that cool stuff, but, I don't like it as much as just the way that the Monarchs themselves work. So first off, we got ourselves 3 Aether. Personally, I love this card more than I like the triple Erebus. You do have to play 3 of both of this card in the deck, but I like this card all that much more because I just feel it's so much more versatile, because you can, chain it, summon it on their turn by banishing. You can, summon out another one. You can trigger your return by tributing for it, because you can tribute on their turn, all that junk. And you can recycle it off Erebus' effect, which I like. That's, one of the biggest effects that I like about Erebus. But, I just like the card more because it's better going second. You can push so much more damage with it, and you can just stopping chain links and all that. Well, not stopping chain links, but interrupting them and doing all that jazz because of return. But then Erebus, on the other hand, is, all that much better going first. So, these cards have their own time to shine, but personally, my favorite card in the deck is this card. It just pushes so much more plays than the Erebus does. I do like the fact that Erebus doesn't target, but hopefully there's not that much glare for you guys. I can't really see. Okay, there we go. It's not that bad. You get to, send it back to the deck, but then, the same note, you're only getting 1 card on the board at that moment, unless you have the extra attributes and all that junk. I just like Aether all that much more. Next up, for the small ones, because we only play, we play those big Monarchs. Those are the only Monarchs that we play. Then we play the 3 white Squire, and then we play 3 black Squire. A lot of the times I'll side out 1 idea, because I find that it's less important to play 3 idea in game 2, because as long as you have an Eidos and an idea in grave, you're set. And as long as they don't get Veiled or something like that, but then you can side it out. But that gives you space for 1 extra card in the main when you are going into game 2. So it's a good side out card for the 1, because you still need to play the 2, because you need to have this at any chance that you possibly get, unless you can shrink your monster down to get him out. But that's it. The main one there is Idea, because Idea's effect into Eidos is just the nuts, because it equals big monsters. Anyway, so the next card up is one of the most unusual cards for a Monarch deck. I like the card Vanity's Fiend and everything, but I don't like the fact that it restricts you from making your plays, because say you wanted to special and get off and all your effects and everything, you can't, because you're restricted from special summoning. So I play Vanity's Ruler, and the reason why I play Vanity's Ruler is because this card is, sure, it doesn't have the same stats. It has 2500, 1600, but it's a level 8. You can make it really easily, but it only targets your opponent's side of the field. Hopefully it targets. Not targets, it focuses, but it only affects your opponent's side of the field, which is really, really good, because you can still get off effects like Eidos and Idea while this guy's on the board, because, again, since it only targets your opponent's side of the field, you don't have to worry about the whole problem with not being able to special summon. The only thing is that I do play the 2 Majesty's Fiend, because this card is just all that much better than Vanity's Fiend, I think, because it's really amazing against water. It's if you guys don't know water, it's Mermail. It's really amazing against that deck. You just drop either Domain, or you drop March of the Monarchs with this card, and it's game if they don't have the outs to it. But half the time they won't be able to activate the outs for this card, because it stops the effects. So I just feel like playing 2 of this and then 1 Vanity's Fiend is just the right amount. Again, this card's the nuts, because you drop this against a Pendulum player or any deck that really special summons, is mainly for special summoning. They can't do anything with this card, because then you can go off still. And then these are just to go up against everything like Cosmo. They can try and run over it, but they can't, because they can't activate monster effects. And then this against Cosmo is the nuts too, so it's really good, especially, you know, this against water is amazing. Next up we got double Effect Veiler. The build is relatively the same in terms of those, because Effect Veiler I just feel is so good, especially if you're gonna like go against Skull Crobat Joker, but that doesn't really matter anymore because the official list came out and it just like killed pendulums. But against a lot of decks, like say you wanted to Veiler or Tin Can, or you wanted to Veiler or something that's really important, I just feel still that it's really important. That's why I play the Maxis in the side deck. Because I like having the ability to, like, you know, Veil or something if I have to, but I don't want to have like a dead card in my hand if I'm playing like the Monarch Mirror match, or they're not going to be special thing that much. It's just better when you're going into like game 2. The next card, I changed the deck because I had to get rid of 2 Upstart Goblins in the deck, and that was the big thing with the hit for this Monarch deck. That was the one card that really gave the deck something that they could easily keep the plays going, and now with that, you can only run one of it. It doesn't really give you that draw that you really needed to, which is a shame, and I really didn't want to see it go, but unfortunately, I had to see it go back to 1, but I put something else in there that I thought that could be really useful in the deck. I put this card in here because I wanted a really versatile card that people wouldn't really be expecting in the Monarch deck, although some people do play it, but just in case I can like get it on the board, stop my opponent's plays, or stop them in their tracks, but then I can use it for myself later on and keep the plays going, and hopefully I can get my draws next turn. And the next card up that I play is Double Battle Fader. The reason why I play this card is, one, I'm a big advocate of this card in a lot of my decks, especially in Batterymen. This kept the plays going. Your opponent would try and OTK you or something like that if you didn't have a monster on board. You can just drop this and special it, and stop the battle phase, which is amazing. But the thing that I really liked about this in this deck is that sometimes you would get Veilered on your idea, which is a really bad thing that you can get on your turn or whatever. So when you would pass, your opponent would obviously would attack over the idea, and then they would go in probably or whatever, and then you just draw Battle Fader and then stop them right in their tracks. But that leaves one monster on your board, which puts you in a really good place in terms of you can, if you have like Domain or something like that, or if you have monsters in your graveyard, or you have your spell and trap turns in your graveyard already, you can get in your spells and traps, and you have Domain. You can just like reduce a monster, or you can summon out your Majesty's Fiend, you know, just tribute this because it's one on board already, bring this out, and it just really makes sense in the deck in terms of what a replacement should be. I know there are probably a lot of other replacements, but I thought, like, to myself, what could be a really good card that could not only get around like the bricking problem, but also give me a time for draw, because at the time I couldn't really think of anything, but then this came to mind via one of my friends at my locals, because he used to play this card, and I was like, oh, why do you play it? And he was like, oh, I like it. And I was like, oh, I like it too. And I figured what could be a good replacement for Upstart Goblin, and this added to the monster count, which I wanted, and gave me, you know, that extra draw in terms of I get that draw for my next turn, and then it gave me a monster that I could tribute off. So it gave me a lot of plays in terms of, like, although it takes like a turn, it gives me a lot of ways to make things in terms of drawing, making a monster, stopping my opponent. So it was really good overall. I know that's not the most conventional card to be playing, but I really liked it. It synergized with the deck a lot, because you can shrink monsters, you can make Majesty's Fiend with it. It stopped the OTKs, so it was really nice to put in here. And I think that might be like 19 monsters now. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that. I don't remember the exact count of the monsters. So next up is, the reason why I'm still playing Monarch is because the only thing that did get hit on the deck was the Upstart Goblins, and you can easily replace those with things. So the deck is still very much intact and still is tier 1. So next up we got one of the most stupid cards in the game, Double Draw, Graveyard Effect, search for anything you need really, forcing your opponent to give you stuff. The next, the Nuts, Domain, stopping your opponent from using the extra deck, boosting and shrinking. One of the most ridiculous cards. I don't understand why they didn't get hit, but I'm really happy because it gives me still a deck to play. If this deck got hit, I wouldn't know what I would be doing, because although I'm building a deck right now, it wouldn't have given me a lot of time to do stuff in terms of giving me time to get myself prepared. We got the next most ridiculous. All the spells are ridiculous. This card is nuts because you can just get rid of your opponent's stuff, and then Erebus, get rid of more stuff. So I love that card. I need to get my golds for that. Next up, the card that I don't really, I'm not really a big lover of this card, but I play it because Sure, I don't like it because you have to reveal things over and over again, because you're going to be revealing for a domain, you're going to be revealing for this, your opponent starts to know it's in your hand, and then they start to, like, prepare themselves, and I don't really like that, although you might be dropping that monster anyway. I just don't like this card all that much. I play 3 of it because it just gives me something that I can Pantheism for, like, force my opponent to give me what I want, but, the reason why I play 3 of this card is because if you do draw it or you do search it out with Pantheism, it gives you cards that you need, like, right away. Unfortunately, I have to reveal stuff, but also works with Majesty's Fiend a lot, so you can, like, fake your opponent about saying, oh yeah, I'm going to summon the Majesty's Fiend, then you go right for the Aether or the Erebus. But this card is okay. I can create locks with it, so I run the 3. I would rather run 2, but you have to run the 3 at this point to get into the cards that you actually really, really need. I know that at first I said that 2 is the right number, and I still am a big advocate of the 2, but 3 of, like, all the spells and traps, 3 of all the spells is where you need to be. The only ones that I do play 1 of is is these 2, because I know people are starting to play 3 of this, but the build I have doesn't really, it does work off of having this on the board a lot, but having this on the board is so much more relevant. Sure, this gives me, like, tons of the monsters I need right away, but having this on board is so much more relevant because I can battle fader things, and having this on board allows me to stop plays immediately, because my opponent, people like to out things with, like, Regeki and Dark Holes, so having this and the domain creates a lock with any tribute monster, especially Vanity's Fiend and Majesty's Fiend. So it just makes the deck all that much more powerful when you can create locks in a turn. And I can't tell you how many times that I've just dropped that with Domain and a Majesty's Fiend and my opponent has scooped. So that's why I play that. It creates a lock that most opponents don't really know how to get around. Although it's relatively easy, but in this deck you do play a lot of outs like things like Twist Twister and MST, so that you can keep that lock. And having the whole problem, your opponent can't extra deck, use the Dark Holes to get rid of your lock, and you can't use your effects or special summon is pretty ridiculous, and why I really like this deck, because it creates some crazy plays. So let's go into the what-ofs. The next thing, we had one-ofs before, but those were the March of the Monarchs and the Return. So we have 1-for-1 Rhoda and the unfortunate Upstart Goblin. I'm still playing the 1 Upstart Goblin because it still makes a 39 card deck. So it's really, really nice to play it, and it's ultra rare. Why wouldn't I play it? I had 2 ultras in total, but unfortunately we had to see it go because of the ban list. But it thins the deck just that 1 card, which is nice. And for the traps, we play 2 Prime because this card is nuts in the grave, and on the field you can recycle stuff, but it's better to have it in the grave than it is on the field. But if you were a big advocate of having it on the field, then go nuts. This is the one that got the misprint on it. If you can see right there, it says Krards. It was only in, like, the first prints of the starter deck, or structure deck, whatever you want to call it. And then Konami found out, and then they immediately started printing the new ones that don't have that misprint on them. And then the next card, which is the Nuts, it's like the best card in the game now in terms of what I think it's the best card in the game. It interrupts chain links, it can stop Twin Twister, it can stop most of the cards that are out there that would cause you a problem in this deck, and that's why I play it. That's why I play 2 of it. I don't think 3 is necessary. It would be a little too cloggy, although 3 of it wouldn't be all that bad, but I just personally think it would be too cloggy for the deck. You're wasting too much space that you could use. But now that you do have space, maybe you could open up that 3rd spot because of the Upstart Goblins that most people are playing in the deck. Now that you do have space, it offers you a lot of space for cards that you wouldn't play before, like Mithra, or the Fire Vassal, or the Rock Vassal. I forget which one's the good one. Or you can just play this, which is amazing, and I love it, and that's why I'm playing it. Because it stops things like, say you have let's say you have Majesty's Fiend, you have that card and that card. Say you have the lock and you have this active and you have your monster on board and this is your field spell over here, and you have this set and they want to get rid of your lock, you can just with Twin Twister you can easily get around it. And it was really good in my OTS because I would flip this up on almost every single one of my matches and it stopped them from destroying the lock and just go off, because a lot of the players are playing like pendulums and all that jazz, and they wanted to get rid of the lock where they couldn't use any of their things. So having Solemn Scolding really opened up a lot of plays for me. So onto the side deck, because we don't play an extra deck obviously, unless you're playing extra deck Monarchs, which is Power Ranger Monarchs. Next up, we got the 3 Maxi and the Vanity's Fiend, because I played the one. It's still good, but it's not as good as in my terms the Vanity's Ruler. Next up for the spells, we got, because I can't afford Twin Twisters, we got 3 Mystical Space Typhoon. And then for the next, I like to play a lot of weird cards that most people wouldn't think about playing. I play triple Prohibition because in this format, again, this was good in the last format as well. I wanted a card that was all around really, really good to get rid of things that I'm not too keen on wanting to have my opponent to have. So say my opponent would play around this one card a lot, or the deck runs around one card most of the time. I would wanted one card where I can just shut them down immediately and stop them from playing, or just permanently stop them from playing in general, unless I have like an out to it, like an MST. This came up a lot because I would side in against Cosmo, call either Tin Can or Dark Destroyer, mostly Dark Destroyer, or I would go up against Water, Mermail, and just call Neptibus, stop them from playing, or just go up against Monarch and stop them from using Idea or something like that. So, or I can call Prime of the Monarchs, or I think you can call Monsters. Yeah, you can call one card. So you can call like Prime of the Monarch, which is like one of the big cards in the matchup. So it's really, really good in all matchups and anything, because you can just stop your opponent from that one card that can give you that big problem. And it's just all around a really good card. I'm a big advocate of this card now. I like it more than Side Blocker. This is the reason why. We got the 1 Rigeki. I never side that card in. And then we got the Imperial Iron Wall for the either Monarch matchup if you want them to stop using Prime, and then you got it for the Cosmo matchup, that's what it's called. And then we got the 1 Royal Decree for traps. I don't know how I have the Royal Decree in there. It's guess I don't like this deck losing the traps, and you lose the traps sometimes, but you don't want to lose the traps, so I just play the 1 of. You don't really see it anyway because you have the MSTs and you usually get rid of the back row with Erebus or something like that. But nowadays you don't really see that many people playing back row unless they're like Cosmo players. But you want to have the ability to stop them from using their back row, so having Royal Decrees is really, really strong. And that is the deck, guys. I know it ran a lot longer than I wanted to, but I wanted to get really in-depth on the deck because with the new ban list, there's especially the Battle Faders. I needed to get into talking about those because most people don't really know what they are anymore because they're not really a thing. But they're just really, really good all-around card because they just stop plays in their tracks and stuff like that. A lot of players don't expect you to be playing them, especially in a Monarch deck, and just stopping plays gets them really salty, so it's really funny. So I'm a big advocate of this card. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Tell me what you guys would play in your decks based on the new ban list, and what deck that you're going to be playing because of the ban list, shutting down your pendulums and stuff like that. Or if you're playing Monarchs and what you put into your Monarchs, any kind of things that relate to what is going on in this video. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that like button as hard as you can, and subscribe to my channel for more awesome Yu-Gi-Oh content. And as always, hope you enjoyed.